just gonna double click on project and open up Sparks Gen. You just click import as project, import. And it'll take a minute to import. You'll import this, and just this one composition, Sparks Gen, couple solid imports, so you don't have to worry about these. Just import Sparks Gen, and bam, that is it. You can immediately just press play. And off bat, it just works. Sparks just start coming up. But everything here is fully customizable. Just open up this drop-down menu here, go to Essential Properties, Emitter, Physics, Color, and Post. Position controls whereabouts your sparks are coming from. Now keep in mind that this is a hypothetical plane where the midpoint is 0 and far right is 0.5, far left is 0.5. So negative 0.5 on the x-axis now puts it to the left, putting up 0 is completely centered and so on. And that's where your emitter is. So we're going to keep that at 0.5 to keep it to the right. Then you have the lifespan, and the lifespan is how long each particle will last, roughly. Each particle has a little bit of variation to how long it lasts, which is absolutely fine. Editing mode like here, I actually forgot to record how density works. Density literally just controls how many particles there are. That's it. More density equal more particle, less density equal less particle. And then go down to physics. Physics is where some of the interesting things are in. You have your direction, which is stored as a 2D vector. So you have your x and your y. So keep in mind that the y position is your height, or the up and down. Your x position is your horizontal one, so the sideways one. Currently, with the gravity x of 1, it is going to the left. With the gravity y of 1, it is going upwards. Now, if I want to make it go downwards, I can click -1 into y, and now it goes down. But because x is still 1, it is still going to the left. If I completely remove gravity y, it now goes only to the left. If I completely remove gravity x, and I put 1 into gravity y, it now goes straight up, and so on. Gravity is, well, exactly that, how strong each of these effectors are. Sparks often defy gravity, although they do get affected by it. Currently, you can put stuff to something like 10, for example, and now your sparks will fly incredibly fast. You're going to be direct. Currently, I have it around 0.6, so they fly upwards, they kind of wiggle a little bit. You set it down really low to 0.1, and now your sparks look more like an atmosphere. Your resistance is exactly what you expect, air resistance. You set it up high, and your particle is really slow through there. You set it down low, say 0.1, and now your particles move easily through the air, cutting through like butter. So we can then go out of our physics and go into color. Colors are the interesting things happen. So currently I have a custom color map installed. And what that means is that I can control exactly what color they are at different points. So I have it on custom. You go down to custom and you can change your color. Color at birth is wherever your particles spawn, they will spawn at this color. Then 25% through the lifetime, so once a particle has been live for 25% of whatever you specified for lifespan, 50% this color, and so on until the end of its life where it's now this color. I personally have this one, which I set up, which looks quite a bit like Sparks, but you can change it to whatever you want. Birth to death is simply just transitioning from birth color to death color. Origin to death just sticks to the origin and just goes straight to death. Now out of color into the last one, into post. So you can choose your frame rate. Now just for note, your frame rate does not affect the playback speed. It will only affect the frame rate that it is displayed at. So for example, my composition right now, 60 frames per second, but if I had a 24 composition, or if I had a 30 composition, and so on, I might want to change the frame rate to whatever frame rate my composition is. But again, this does not affect how fast anything renders. Your direct glow is essentially the first glow applied to this, the first layer of glow. Usually you'd have a low radius with a medium threshold, and intensity doesn't really matter. Then your ambient glow is your second layer of glow. Generally you wouldn't really have any sort of radius, but you just have a high threshold, means that a lot of it glows, and you just put the intensity down a little bit, which just adds a little bit extra. Now your blur, you have your blur radius, which is exactly what you'd expect. How far these are blurred, they're currently just lines. I'd recommend quite a low blur, around 5 pixels, to make it look more like sparks. A higher one can be used for something as more of a foreground element, or as a really far away element, or something really out of focus. Then you just have your lens shape, which is exactly what you'd expect. Whatever camera you shoot with, you can just change to whatever you go. For the most part, I just use nonagon because it's pretty much a circle, and honestly it just seems cooler than decagon. It doesn't really matter what you choose. An additional motion blur, can't really see what it says, which is always fun, but it's not recommended. Now, this motion blur is incredibly intensive on the computer and can technically make it look better in some scenarios, but for the most part it's just not worth it due to how much time it adds or how little inequality wise it actually adds. So I wouldn't recommend it. You also then have to adjust all your settings again because it darkens it a lot when adding the motion blur, so overall just wouldn't recommend using it, but it's there if you want it. That pretty much wraps it up for Sparks Gen. Use it in so many different scenarios. Download link is in the description. Have a good day.